What is going on, everybody? Today we have a special guest with us, the one and only Boone, the Booninator, as I like to say. I love Boone, and you guys get to see what he looks like for now for the real deal. Super, super cool. Boone, how you doing, man?
Great. How are you guys?
I am doing super good. And we just did the weekly recap. It has not been published yet. But to let people know, ADR23, the reserve burn, that did reach consensus. So congratulations, sir.
Thank you. And
You're
thanks
very
for
welcome.
everyone who supported it.
It's a good idea, Boone. It was a good idea. And this is a really cool thing, Boone, that I really love about THORChain is you don't need to be a node operator. Honestly, you technically don't even need to be a BP. I mean, anyone could have submitted that idea, really, and it could have been, adopted. I mean, it's just a solid idea. It quickly got very pretty, in terms of other votes, this is a pretty quick consensus reach. I think everyone just loves the idea of making THORChain much easier for outsiders to understand, right? Because they don't do the deep dive. They just look at metrics and they form a thesis.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, Boone, tell us a little about yourself. Like, how did you get into THORChain? Like, the floor is yours, good sir.
I'm not a huge on talking about myself. You guys are welcome to ask me questions, but I guess real quick, I guess I'm somewhat of an idealist. I lived on a hippie commune for 6 years to be as self-sufficient as possible, while not, living alone in the woods or something like that. And then I I mean, I guess in some I'm also like, I heard a while ago that people are either like positive base or negative base, and you either like see what's going right, and that's positive base, or you see what's going wrong, and that's negative base. And I'm like, I consider myself a positive person, but I'm like negative base. Like what's not working like jumps out to me ahead of what is working, and the world's fucking crazy right now. And I'm just kind of,
Yes.
like the more you pay attention to things, it's hard not to get black pilled. And yeah, and in face of, increasing government surveillance and tyranny, I think the, the original cypherpunk ethos of crypto just really appealed to me. And it's like, yeah, if we're going to have sovereignty in the world going forward, I think crypto is a huge part of that. And then, I think THORChain naturally follows. There's plenty of criticisms you can level against it, but everyone's doing their best. And
Yeah.
furthermore, I don't know, like I love Eric Voorhees. I think he's fantastic. And he has like whenever THORChain first went mainnet, he put out a great little blog post about it. And there's a line from there that just has always stuck with me. It's like a decentralized money needs a decentralized market. And you
Yes.
need, and if you want to be outside of state control, and there's nothing that is more permissionless than THORChain. And so that continues to, through all the bumps and tribulations. That's why I continue to um, be called to it. I really believe that to have sovereignty, you need freedom. We need to separate money from state. And yeah, so that's
I
kind of,
totally agree with that. I love that, dude. Yeah. And yeah, it's, you know, yeah, I tell people occasionally, I got involved a little bit into politics, with the last election and stuff. And when you get to see, I mean, you don't need to get inside to really see what it's like. You have enough outside indicators to be like, wow, this system is really messed up. But THORChain for me is that white pill, right? To talk about the black pill, THORChain represents freedom in the most basic way. I mean, the statement is, fix the money, you fix the world. And I truly believe that. We have to fix the first principles of the world. So, and yeah, Eric Voorhees is an amazing individual. And yeah, I mean, THORChain has changed a lot, right? Like, man, we have quite a history. But I really feel like Boone now, like people have come, people have gone. But now the people that are here are really the true diehards who really believe in what we're doing. And there's just no quit in this amazing group. I'm starting to call it the dream team. I really think we got a dream team now. We're not perfect. Nothing's ever perfect. But in relative to our history, I think we're doing all the right things right now as much as we can. And it's very exciting, Boone. So
yeah,
exciting.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay. So let's talk a little bit about, you made your ADR process that came. You have another ADR as well.
Mhm.
You've been busy, man. And it's really
I
great.
I have a fair amount of free time with my job, which is why I decided to get it, so I can pursue personal projects. And actually, at the end of this, I'll plug a website I've been working on that I haven't. This might actually be the closest thing to a launch. I didn't even consider this until now, but why not? But yeah, and I mean, THORChain takes up a lot of my thinking and like how can we make it better and whatnot. So yeah, I have been rather active lately.
Yeah, well, and people who watch, Telegram and stuff, ADR24, it is basically a POL ad mechanism that comes from revenue, right? And we go back and forth. I'm on your side on this one. You know what I mean? When it comes, I think it's a superior burn. I do believe it is a burn, 100%, but it's a burn that never stops working, right? So, but maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe I'll give it to you. Maybe you can describe ADR24, why you made it, and what's your vision for it ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, I guess really I saw the need for this 2 years ago or something. Like whenever Ruggiero, the app layer, was first being discussed, I was like, this is going to destroy the incentive pendulum because there's going to be exogenous assets outside of the swap pools, and the logic of the incentive pendulum is going to break. I was thinking that a demurrage fee might address that, but that's not how the community wanted to go. And, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but I'm really sad to
Right.
see THORChain abandon a strict economic security and go towards more, what do they call, optimistic. I don't like that, but, I lost that battle, so I'm not gonna, dwell on that. But yeah, the incentive pendulum is broken. LPs are getting no rewards, and therefore there's no reason for anyone to LP other than the treasury, which is going to lose money to impermanent loss. And so it's just so there's that. It's like, how do we continue to deepen the pools? And then yeah, like I do not like. I talk enough about the burn. I'm not trying to like go on a burn rant with this video.
It's okay.
But
It's hey, this is your
well,
video, buddy.
no,
You
I know,
you
but
can do whatever you want.
sure, sure. But I think people know where I stand on that. And
Yeah.
actually, in a recent conversation, it came up a way that like I hadn't fully clicked, and then when it did click, but yeah. So the probably the easiest way to say why the burn is bad is like what it does is it shrinks Rune's market cap, right? So it reduces the supply without reducing the price, and so the market cap just goes down, and that's usually the backwards direction that you want to go for a project. So that
Right.
little throw that
That's
little argument.
interesting. I didn't think about that. That's true. And I when it comes to POL, obviously I'm a fan, so I'm biased. Sorry, everybody. It's just is what it is. But I was actually wondering if you even knew how good your POL, the ADR24 is, because yes, you take the rune, it's swapped into the exhaustion assets, deposited in the pools. Those assets work forever, right? And then on arbitrage alone, assuming no like swap from third parties, arbitrage alone, that's bringing in more revenue that leads to more POL, on and on and on. But I was thinking, because like the important context here is like, what does that mean game theory wise, right? Like, what does that translate to human behavior? Like, we know the mechanics. The mechanics are absolutely sick. I love the mechanics. Well, how does that change people's their perception? And I think, Boone, that it actually changes the game theory for people who actually hold rune, because if we have a mechanism, and if you know this, where you're constantly depositing exogenous assets into the pools, and this is going to lead to more exogenous going, more TVL, more swap volume, then I think that leaves people like, well, shoot, I actually probably shouldn't sell my rune. I think this is as close as you can get to almost guaranteeing more swap volume in lieu of just arbitrage alone, right? So I think this is super, super powerful. You made that point. I don't. Hopefully,
Yeah, I
I don't know.
mean, but I'd refer to it as productive capital. Like it's an
Yeah,
investment that starts earning more money, and that compounds over time and it snowballs. So yeah, that's yeah.
Well, and I think too is like with the burn, right? We've been doing it for a while now. Like, I think we're over a year, right? I think we're approaching 2 million rune burns, so we have a decent amount of data to see the performance and of the rune. And a lot of rune hasn't burned, and I think that is good from a narrative point of view. But has it translated into a higher price of rune? I don't think you can make that argument, right? We've only gone down, so I'm really excited to see because as you alluded to earlier, right, there's just no way for assets to get deposited in the pools outside of a new POL ad mechanism, right? So it just makes complete sense to me.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, and where was I? Yeah, so
Um,
the well, no, wait, I got it. Just give me a second. So the
yeah,
LP, yeah, not having LP rewards. Oh, and then so I was whenever the burn was first introduced, I was in favor of it because we still had block rewards, and so it slowed down inflation of the rune supply. But after we ended block rewards, which I also had a part in, then I did not like the burn anymore, and
yeah,
yeah, I don't see why we're trying to bribe people to hold rune instead of bribing people to bond rune. I mean, at a base level, it's just that simple. Like we should encourage people.
yes,
I mean, especially going away from a strict economic security. Like I want to see as much rune bonded as possible, and so that's where the incentive should be to bond, not just to hold.
I
And
agree.
I honestly don't want to like go down the burn rabbit hole further than that. But yeah, so after we ended block rewards, I was no longer a fan of the burn, and then yeah, and then I was just I don't know, it just hit me one day. Like I just was looking at the amount burned. I'm like, what if that had just gone into the liquidity pools instead? I'm like, that would be, in my opinion, so much better. And that's I don't know. I've been trying, I need to be gentler, but I've been trying to like push that idea forward for months or I don't know, maybe even a year now. And then you guys leaked my
We
ADR and
did.
forced my hand, so
We did.
I made it public.
Well, you got
No,
to
it's
do what
okay.
you got to do,
I'm
Boone.
not sour about it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was a our bad on that.
No,
But
it's totally fine. But yeah. So and yeah, hopefully I mean and like I just want to stress this again, like the ADR is completely additive, right? It doesn't take anything away. It
yeah,
just gives node operators one more or lever to pull if they want to. They don't have to. It just gives them an option that doesn't currently exist. And yeah,
right.
that once that, it's in their hands after if it passes. And so to that degree, I don't really see a reason why it shouldn't pass because they don't have to use it, right? So
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it's like you said earlier. With change of the THORChain, like with this app layer secured assets, the incentive pendulum doesn't work. It's an obsolete system, right? You change the mechanics of THORChain, and now yes, now the secured assets it breaks. So we need a way to add to the pools. So I just think totally this is the way you got to do it, right? This is just the way it has to be done. And I honestly, Boone, like I was an LP. I got annihilated is what it is. I don't blame anyone but myself. But, I think this is good though, because you remove the human factor from this. If the protocol itself has liquidity, then you don't have to worry about it being withdrawn from the protocol. It's just like super reliable. It's like guaranteed liquidity at that point. When you have humans, it's happenstance. It's just at a whim, right? And shout out to our previous LPs. You guys stuck through it and the worst of the worst, especially 2021 when we had those massive exploits on THORChain during the early ChaosNet days. So the humans really got us to this point. So definitely don't want to sell them short. But all right, man, awesome. So yeah, guys, if always remember, like, please share your opinions, get active. Let us know what you think of ADR24. Are we wrong? Are we right? We always want feedback, right? We want to get community consensus. That's what we're doing here. But I think we did ADR24 pretty good justice here. Boone, you did another thing. You've been busy. You made the rapid swaps like a little thing real quick. You quickly coded up. And I know this is an early thing, so this might look different, guys, if you're watching this in the future. But I'm going to share it here and bring it up. So rapid swaps, man, very cool, very cool. Can you see it, Boone?
yeah, give
Right
it a
here.
hard refresh. It's behind.
Oh, because I thought
Do
that was.
Do Command Shift R, or maybe one. Actually, no, probably a swap fell off. It's probably fine.
Yeah.
It's that's a 24-hour counter, so it probably fell off the back end. But yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's correct. Yep. Oh yeah, yeah, that's what happened because now we have a difference between all-time high because we did the recap recently and these values were the same. So I guarantee you that's what happened. Um, oh, that is cool. I didn't notice. Is this new? I didn't
Yeah,
notice that before.
Lush suggested that, and I threw that on there. It's not
That's
completely
really
accurate, like, because it doesn't account for inbound and outbound times, but, like, I don't know, I gotta think about that for a while to determine. But, yeah, that's just basically in terms of blocks, how many blocks a swap took, that's accurate, so
that does make sense though. But if you assume perfect behavior, if you took out, outbound and stuff like this, this would be 50% faster. So I don't know. I think that's a pretty
well, no, but,
reasonable
like, I mean,
metric.
if you look on the individual swaps, you'll see it's, like, 6 seconds faster, a minute faster, and so on,
Right.
like, with the inbound and outbound taking 10 minutes, like, 30 seconds into a 10 minutes isn't, very noticeable, but
Exactly. Yeah, especially when the amounts are so small and it wouldn't take a regular
yeah, but
streaming swap that much time to go.
larger swaps will probably see a big thing once the caps come off this. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. So we'll monitor the situation, right? And now we can because AI is
Well,
pretty cool.
yeah, dude, you just educated me. I didn't remember this. What are the caps right now for rapid swaps? Do you know?
I don't know. Chad alluded to them. I don't know.
Yeah, but it makes sense. This is something that Chad said, right? This is like this is new swap logic, a whole new primitive. So I know he's being really careful with this and understandably so. But I mean, the first day having 250,000 in swap volume, that's pretty impressive. I gotta say, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting maybe like $100, like with limit swaps. Limit swaps was very
Well,
slow
I mean, it's
uptake.
not like it's new. I mean, those are swaps that would have happened anyway. They're just happening a tiny bit faster now, but that's good.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yes, yes, awesome. Yeah, so guys, the link will be in the description down below if you're watching this recording. Definitely check this out. It's a really cool tool. Shout out to you, man. Go ahead.
Oh, and also real quick, hat tip to Familiar Cow. I forked his rune.tools repo, which is why the AI was able to do this so quickly. So, and that's the name Boone Tools is a hat tip to him. So, thanks for
Yeah,
making your shit open
yeah.
source.
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, familiar Cal. We're gonna miss that guy. Super, super
Hmm.
awesome. Hopefully, maybe he'll come back one day. We'll see. Maybe if Rapid Swaps just completely dominates everything, he'll come. He'll come his way back. He's always welcome back. We love that guy. But yeah, shout out to him. Yeah, dude. So very cool. So okay, we we've got this now. I know we have the security model. You're not the biggest fan of that, but on other topics, I'm just curious. Like, if you could wave a magic wand, and I think I know what the answer to this is, but I'm going to give it to you. If you could wave a magic wand, what is the one thing you could do for THORChain that you just could make happen instantly?
I mean, you know the answer. You might as well say it.
Add XMR, right?
That's it.
Yes, yes. Add Monero, and gotta say it again. You put in, and this is something. Maybe I should have talked about this earlier, but this is something I just don't fully understand yet. I know you're basically using the code from was it Kabaya or how do you say his name?
Yes,
I'm
Sarai is
sorry.
his Dex. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're basically using that code, kind of as a workaround for now to get so we can support XMR hopefully soon on THORChain. I was curious, XMR is going to have a pretty big update in 6 months or so.
Well, it's probably like a year out, I would say, which is
Oh,
why
is
I
it?
wouldn't if it I mean, who knows, but it keeps getting pushed back. It
Yeah.
just got delayed again recently, and it's one of those things where, like, you know how things go with THORChain, same. It's like, "Oh, this
Yes.
is 2 weeks away. This is 4 weeks away. Oh, now it's 2 months away." Like, I think this
It's
might be,
true.
like, one of those things, and so I don't think we should wait for it, especially if we can get this working, and if we have to go down to make the switch, fine, but, like, we're already not doing it, so we're not losing anything if we do have to, like, go offline for a little while.
Yeah, this is why I'm really excited. Because we're gonna have a meetup in BTC Las Vegas, right? You're gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. Some a lot of people are gonna be there. Chad will be there. So I'm really cool. I think we're talking about the XMR. I'm really excited to see when Chad finally has time to look at it, and really just break down what things what he thinks of it too. Because if we could pull this off, I totally agree. This would be absolutely massive for THORChain to have the first ever permissionless non KYC access to a privacy coin like Monero. That's game changing. There is nothing. could be even more powerful than that. I agree with you. I think we should get started on this much sooner rather than later. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think it should be THORChain's number one priority is how I would put it. Like, I don't if we're not dedicating all resources to this, I think we're doing it wrong. So
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Yeah. Um, yeah, so we'll see what the chain client team thinks. This is just something that I just don't understand on a technical level yet, but I'm really excited to learn about it. What else, Boone? Like, what else do you think that THORChain could do to make itself better?
hold on to that question. I actually want to talk about Monero a tiny bit longer, if that's
Okay,
cool.
go ahead. By all means, brother.
Yeah, so I saw a tweet. I really liked how they put this. They said THORChain isn't THORChain without Monero, and that really resonated with me.
Yes.
I like that a lot, um, and I really think that this is where we can press our edge, right? And so I might have come up with this. I don't know. Maybe I heard it and didn't remember it, but like I might have come up with like, something like to say is decentralization doesn't matter until it does.
Right.
And so THORChain, we were the first to cross chain swaps, but then there's, other protocols now that can do the same thing. And they have been winning volume over THORChain because they're able to give a better swap experience to users. However, they do that without being as decentralized and without being as permissionless as THORChain, right? And so, because we stand on those values, being decentralized, being permissionless, we are losing in the execution game, which is fine. I'd rather stand on those values, but same values, that's where our edge is.
Right.
And I think that's also makes sense. That's where we should press our edge. And so if we're gonna lean into that original cypherpunk OG, ethos of sovereignty, autonomy, freedom, privacy, Monero is those things, and it's been delisted from almost every major exchange. And because the state doesn't want it, right? They don't want privacy. They want to tax you. And
Yes.
here's a little flag. We can revisit this, but I really recommend the book "The Sovereign Individual," and there's a lot to be discussed there. Um, and so, and no, as far as I know, no other like DEX in the cross chain space does Monero. So like that should be that's where we can press our edge. Like that's something that the other protocols either can't or won't do. And so rather than try to compete them on time, which we probably can't without sacrificing our values or whatever, this is where we do have the advantage. So it's like you play to your strengths, not your weaknesses. And um yeah, I think privacy is a fundamental right in face of increasing, surveillance and tyranny from the state. I think it's very important. Um, and if finance does move on chain, you don't want to expose your net worth when you buy a coffee, and so you need
Yes.
privacy protocols in order to be able to do that. Um, and yeah, so that's why I think XMR is should be THORChain's number one priority. We should play to our strengths.
I agree. I think this is excellently said. And a lot of people are nervous, right? Because
Oh,
they
of course,
say
yeah.
like it's and they say we're not. This is not the time to do it. And I look at them and say, okay, but if this is not the time, then when is the time? Okay, have you looked at the world recently? Is it getting better or worse? It seems to be getting a lot worse at a pretty rapid pace. This is not something that we're ever going to get the okay from any government to do. We're never going to get a green light. We're never going to say, is this fine to do this? We just got to do it. And I say we need to do it as soon as possible. This is the moment. Like, I think a very important skill is to recognize the moment that you're in. You have to abstract away any narcissistic, inclinations, any thoughts, any romanticized ideas. Just keep it logic based. Keep the first principles in your mind. What is the moment? What is happening right now? And very dark things are happening right now, right? You alluded to earlier in the conversation, surveillance state, right? More dystopian rules. I mean, This is kind of an American thing, but when our country was founded, we didn't have the income tax, we didn't have estate tax, we didn't have capital gains, we didn't have unrealized capital gains, which is happening in Europe right now, which is the most insane thing, right? Like it's ridiculous, right? The we have to have privacy. We must give people the ability to protect themselves because ultimately, Boone, like we have the winning argument here, right? I always say all the time, KYC means kill your customer. KYC is dangerous. It is objectively a bad thing. People need to be private on chain, like you just alluded to. And so, if people are afraid, I understand, but this is what we got to do, right? This isn't our mandate, isn't to make money. Our mandate is liberty. Our mandate is to our original ethos. And like you said, I would rather sacrifice a competitive advantage so long as we keep core to our ethos. And because we did keep core to our ethos, it's more complicated. It takes more time to develop, but the first principles are so much stronger for us because, again, the decentralization doesn't matter until it does, to your point exactly, right? So that's my opinion on it. I say sooner we can add Monero, the better.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard deal, man. So I don't like to talk about myself a lot because it's more like you think, but I just think if people truly understood how evil these people are, the lizards, whatever you want to call them, these globalists, whatever you want to say, whatever category you want, I don't care what category you are. These people do not care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care anyone besides their own agenda. And so it's up to us, man. So I'm really glad that you made that argument because I want people to understand like we don't have a choice. Forget it. Forget the risk, forget the cost benefit analysis. I legitimately we do not have a choice. This must be done. So, yes sir. Yes sir. So, okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about in XMR before we move on?
I don't think so. I think that, yeah, sums it up. That's my main
Yeah.
argument for it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So what is the other thing? Like, what are some other like this is weakness time. Like we know we talked about the security model. I have a few weaknesses in mind, but of course, I want to get your thoughts first. Like, what else would you, if you had a magic wand, you'd like to fix about THORChain?
Hmm. I mean, I feel bad to even say this, but since you're asking, and it's not something I've thought of too much. Like, it's not something I dwell on or anything. But like,
Yeah.
it it would be nice to see a more, and I mean, and honestly, this is just a function of decentralization. And so I mean, sometimes we have conversations on like how the nodes vote and like how we can consider THORChain a DAO and how the structure is of all that. I
Yeah.
really like it. I think, I think it's really well done overall. Um, but one of the downsides of being decentralized, it can be a lack of direction. And so, like, what's the roadmap for THORChain? Like, I don't know. Like,
Right.
why did someone decide to add SUI? Like, what? Like, I don't get that. Like, personally, I mean, and it's fine. Like, and because I have those thoughts and feelings, I have been trying to be more vocal about Monero, and like I feel gaining some attention there, right? And so like
Right.
you can be the change you want to see. That's like the plus
Right.
side of decentralization. But yeah, it'd be nice to have more of a roadmap, and that's something I feel I really miss Pluto. I feel like Pluto gave more like here's where we're going. And yeah, I don't see that quite so much, right? Um, and so that would be, yeah, just even if we're just having a discussion, right? It's not like we need someone to tell us what to do, but it's like, like I don't see the big BPs getting together and like what should we be doing, right? I don't know. I don't see a lot of forward vision, and so that would be cool to see more. Um,
Yeah.
and and no shit at all to Chad, but like like is he just doing what he like his intents for THORChain? Like I'm a little skeptical to be honest, and like is that a good use of dev time? I, I don't know. I mean, like it would be nice if he sold that to the community before just doing it kind of thing. And again, no shade. You do whatever you want, bro. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
since you are asking, like just yeah, just like more consensus building perhaps, or like just yeah, vision planning, whatever you want to say, that like that would be something it would be nice to see more of.
Yeah, and that's true because, like, decentralization, it is good for robustness, but it can be bad for, like, centralization. Like, if you're a dictator, Boone, things are gonna get done. You know what I mean? Like, we're doing this and we're going here, and same thing if Chad was dictator or if I was dictator. Like, then you get to implement with decentralization. It can be a little hard. I think things are moving pretty rapidly, whereas, but again, it's like, but what is the vision, right? That crystallize it, and that's one thing that I think we want to do, is just not only talking to you, but anybody, right? Like, we want consensus, like we want to hear opinions, because I think a problem with moving forward is just the bandwidth of information, how it spreads quickly through the ecosystem, right? Like, let's say you come up with a killer idea that is just, it's 100% correct, like it's a genius, like let's do it now, like, yes, it takes time for it to trickle everywhere, right, before you get a plurality or a significant majority of the consensus to get it. And that is the goal, like why we're talking with you, and a lot of more people we're going to be talking with, and we do why I do a weekly recaps. Just us keep the information, like, give us a vehicle where we can get information to everyone in the most efficient way manner possible. So I totally agree. But okay, we talked about Chad. So question, Chad is now taking a leading role. And everyone's like, you're taking a leading role as well, like leadership. So how do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel about the change in direction away from, Nine Realms, things like that?
Um, I guess I don't really
And
have too much of an opinion. Like, I guess
that's
I'm just
fine.
not
Yes.
I'm just not too knowledgeable really. And so, and actually, well, here you asked like, what are the negative things? And again, this is not me making any requests, but just like THORChain sells itself as decentralized, permissionless, open source, but there's a fair amount of like backroom whatever, like where there's conversations that aren't public, and like there's decisions that are made that aren't public, and it'd be nice if that was less the case, and like there's secrecy among how certain things function. And again, I get it, and it's not my place really to say, but just um,
You're asking for
if
transparency.
yeah,
Transparency, right? I think that's fair. I know, I think that's fair. Um, there are some things that, of course, got to be secret. Like, if Hugin finds a big exploit, obviously don't want to
of
talk about
course.
that
I
until you
mean,
address
yeah,
stuff. It's simple stuff. That's brainless, dead stuff. But yeah, like, we shouldn't be, the future of the protocol should not be unilaterally decided by a backroom deal, 100%, right? And that is something that we definitely can get, we can improve upon for sure.
yeah.
I go ahead.
Oh no, I mean, so just this is kind of tied. Like, I don't really know too much what all Nine Realms did, but that's also me not looking into it quite so much, right? I'm not like going through PRs and like reading all that. So like, it's not that I think I know any better, but yeah, I mean, I really do. Like I said, I've noticed a lack of direction since Pluto left. So that's a thing, I and yeah, I mean, I'm very I'm so glad that Chad came back, and
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I mean,
think
I guess I haven't seen too many examples of him displaying leadership. If I mean, just to be super like honest, but not that he's not, but just like I haven't seen the guidance too much. So but at the same time, I'm glad we're shipping stuff.
it's hard, right? Because it's like, if if I try to manage, if I'm Chad, I try to think like how I would think. Like, yes, I'm a significant leader of the community, but then I also promised before, like, behind, like, that I am not the leader, right? Because that was part of the original ethos, is like the core devs remove themselves ultimately, from being the unilateral, like, those admin mirrors which no longer exist, right? The unilateral control. So I guess in mildly in his defense, but also you make a good point. It's kind of like, you gotta walk a fine line a little bit, you know? I think the best
Well,
thing, honestly, go ahead.
yeah, I guess so. There's different. I guess, definitions or understandings of leadership. And like some people think leadership means to be the boss, right? And you telling other people what to do.
Right.
But like the type of leadership I'm speaking to is more consensus building. Is like, hey, where let's gather everyone's opinions and like find the gestalt, the middle, the golden path of it all.
Right.
Um, and yeah, I mean, theoretically, I mean, well, here you want to like I guess that should, on paper, be the role of the node operators and the bond providers. But like, I feel like there's a big lack of direction from there, right? I don't see too. I mean, um, I don't know how much he wants to be named, but like the person we bond with, he's pretty proactive, but a lot of
Right.
other node operators seem to be very reactive. And like Kenton being a huge counterexample, I'm so appreciative to Kenton and all the initiative that he's undertaken.
Yeah.
And so he's a shining example of what I think node operators should be like. But who else is doing that, right? And like I mean, theoretically, that's who should be driving the protocol. But usually it's more like they're just running code rather than
Right.
setting direction.
Right. It's hard because like a lot of those node operators, because I know the node operator you're talking about. I'm not, of course, he definitely doesn't want to be mentioned, but he does want to. He's pushing the protocol forward, but he's also retaining some
Of course, right.
remaining anonymous,
No,
and
it's tricky.
that's a good. Yeah, but it's a good balance though. He's doing it. And yeah, I totally agree on Kenton. He's doing a great job. I think, especially there's a lot to break down with Kenton, our own front end. That's a big one. We've been wanting
Yeah.
that for a while. Our own Dex aggregator API system, right? Like we control our distribution now, right? And that is huge. Like that is so big. I'm so glad we did that. Makes me feel so like it's just easy now to model. Like if you have your destiny in control of a third party or third parties, like how do you model that in your brain? Like what's gonna happen? You just it's a whim, it's chance, it's you know what I mean? It's not a good thing. So I totally agree. I love that. Um
And
go ahead.
and so here's something that kind of ties a number of different threads together. Asked me what would I change, and we talked about owning our own distribution, the front end. I think it's absolutely retarded that we don't have our own aggregator. Like, I just cannot
Yeah,
understand why the treasury nixed that. D d I am at a complete loss. I can only assume bad intentions, and I'm not gonna voice those, but, like, from a
well well
from a
maybe
rational standpoint.
well we have
Sorry, go
wait
ahead.
wait 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 maybe I'm maybe okay, maybe you're educating me something I didn't this is something I did not know. We have the API aggregator still, but it's only THORChain and my protocol, or you're saying it
Yeah.
was 100% canceled. Yeah, okay,
Well, no,
all
no,
right,
no,
yeah,
yeah, but it's limited, and so therefore it's not competitive.
yeah, yeah, right. Like beforehand when we had the
We're
yes, I understand
shackling
what you
we're
mean.
hobbling ourselves.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
we can literally dominate we could drive every other aggregator out of business. We could dominate that, like, all the money that they're making, we could be making it. Eh, Retarded to not do, in my opinion. Like, just, it makes no sense at all.
I
Like,
understand.
it's
I
a complete
understand.
vertical, and so, yeah, if I was king of Thorchain, we would absolutely be doing that.
Yeah, no, I understand. That was something that I personally didn't agree with either, obviously. I still believe we're gonna be successful because we're just
Oh, yeah,
determined we're
I'm
gonna
not
make
saying
it.
we
But
won't be, but,
it
like,
no, of course, of course. It just makes it harder. It makes it way harder, right? Because we don't support all the assets. Right? Like Solana now is sort of available, right? Like, but beforehand we actually had significant Solana volume on the front end of Thorchain, but then it went away the moment that was made. So yep. Yep, I understand. Yeah, believe me, it wasn't popular with me either. But
no, no. I mean,
again,
then
it's
again, it is what it is. But just like these are the kind of things. Like, that was a black backroom decision. Wasn't up for the community. Like, I mean, I don't
yeah.
know. The nodes didn't push back on it. Uh, whatever. Not my place. But like, yeah, frustrating.
I know it's frustrating. Yeah, and it is. I mean, it is your place. You are a part of. You are a very important ecosystem member. So it's you're totally fine saying this. I totally understand. But I really like, dude. Like the reason why I'm talking today is like you're literally you're not just a sayer. You're a doer. right? You're putting in some work, and I really appreciate that. Making ADRs, like, because honestly, I expected more ADRs to be made all the time, like kind of harkening to what you're saying, right? Like, why aren't more nodes pushing ADRs, right? Like, we had one arbitrage, a one node operator try to push an arbitrage ADR. It's kind of nuanced, complex. They're still hashing out, still thinking about it, but that's a big one too, right?
Yeah.
Like, to make arbitrage better, more competitive, more fair, right? Can't be gameable. So yeah, I think ultimately from this conversation, I would just encourage more people to get involved because Boone's an example. If you put in the effort, you can cause significant change on THORChain for the better, right? And it's a lot of work, right? Like, I know, like, we talk about the burn thing. We've had this conversation so many times, so many people. Like, it almost feels like it's a broken record. You keep making the same points, but you kind of got to do it though in order to get consensus.
Yeah.
It's just part of the system. So absolutely. Well, I know for me, what I would want, I just want the network to be more decentralized, hands down. More unique node operators. That's something that I definitely want to see, because you said, we no longer have that strict security model. We're now in a decentralization model, optimistic security, as you said. That's something that I'm personally trying to do. Try very hard to get that going. It's not easy because when you're a new node operator, right? It's hard to get established. It's hard to get BPs to bond to you because you are purposely, unless it makes sense for you to churn in and out every churn. If you're the lowest node operator, it doesn't make sense to bond to that. So the people who bond, they often have to do it in a altruistic manner, which I do appreciate those people. So yeah. So okay, man, cool. Is there anything else you want to add to that conversation? Anything prior or anything like that?
You know?
No. Okay, yeah. I think it's some pretty fair points that we're making here. And guys, I want to remind people who are watching this, we definitely want your opinion too, right? Like, I want you to raise your voice because we don't censor anything on THORChain. This is completely open, transparent. That is our ethos, ruthless meritocracy, information, right? That's how it always got to be. We have competition of ideas. We all respect each other end of the day, but we got to do what's best with THORChain because, alluding to the points you made previous, Boone, like, this isn't little kid stuff. This is quite serious what we're building here. And it really has the chance to fundamentally change the world. I would argue it kind of already has, but we have more things to do to take it to the next level, like XMR. XMR, then we are a whole other game. We're a whole other game,
Yeah.
man. So super, super cool. Let me see here. Coke, could you rephrase that? I don't quite understand that question. Sorry, buddy. Um, Okay. Well, anything else that you wanted? Anything on top of your head that you want to discuss at all? That you feel like we missed or cover again?
Hmm.
It's really easy to talk to you because you're so knowledgeable, right? So it's like, for us, I kind of trying to remember, like, the audience. Like, is there something we're making too simplistic because we know and they don't know? But I think we're doing a pretty good job. But it's and guys, if you want to have these conversations, come to BTC Las Vegas. You gotta come, okay? Because as we talk about this nonstop for hours, and it's the most fascinating time. I love this stuff. So, all right, Boone. So, I question. Given our decentralization, right, our ethos, right, we want to maintain the spirit of that. How would you personally like to see this network, the protocol, go back to be more decentralized, but also maintaining our ability to be to be efficacious when it comes to pushing the protocol forward? What would you say on that front?
That is a very tricky question, right? So,
I
sorry,
say
give me
we
a s
give Boone the king scepter, and we just do whatever Boone wants
you don't
because
want that.
you're on a winning streak, buddy.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Yeah,
so yeah, it's just really hard. Like, so I lived in this intentional community for 6 years, and it was direct democracy. Every full member gets one equal vote. And there's some very good things about that, and then some very bad things about that. And so this is, I'm going to be kind of rambling here, but let me see if I
that's okay.
can't start to put some thoughts together. Um, as far as THORChain goes, yeah, I'm an idealist, but also I'm a realist. I'm pragmatic, and like decentralization is always a goal, right? It's a journey. It's not necessarily a destination. And just by the very nature of things, I mean, like, I don't know how many founders there were to THORChain, but it couldn't be more than five, probably, right? So, I mean, that's not
Yeah.
decentralized. It started with five people, and then it's grown over time. And so it was centralized when it started, and there are still elements like the treasury that are centralized, and I mean that's fine, right? That it is what it is. But I guess if we want to, I guess just what can we do to continue down the path from centralization to greater decentralization? Um, but then that runs into the question that you raised, Denny, that like, yeah, decision making becomes very hard. Um, and actually, this is actually kind of cool. I never even put this together until this very moment. But you often say we need more nodes, right? You want to raise the node cap, 200, whatever nodes. Are you familiar with Dunbar's number?
No.
Okay, so this is a thing from like sociology or whatever, and it's the natural group size of humans. And so you can't maintain a group of humans. Back when we were hunter gatherers, the term was band, like a rock band, but a band. Um, when they grow to a certain size, they naturally bifurcate, they split, and that's because you can't maintain the social relationships that maintain group status. You can't be friends with 1,000 people. You can't be
Right.
friends, with everybody, and just you naturally group up, right? And that's just, you can call it because of like the social bandwidth processing of our brains, and then there's like network effects where like, you know, if there's just you and me is one relationship, but you add in Coke, there's my relationship with Coke, but there's also your relationship with Coke. And then you add in
Yeah.
Chad, and it's three more relationships, and then four more relationships. And so I think geometric is the series. And so, um, and you just can't keep track of all those relationships. And then the group splinters. And so maybe it doesn't make sense to have more than 150 node operators. And the real decentralization is that we move away from multi-node operators. Like that's where it is. And because with bonds, you can move the bond around, and right now there's only so many people who can handle the technical complexities of running a node. But with AI, that probably goes away very quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if the frontier models now couldn't, handle the technical aspects of running a node with not too much work. I think, and actually, that's an idea. It's like we
Yes.
could create an automated node operator, so it takes the technical complexity outside of that, and then it becomes a political and financial, thing instead. And so, yeah, I mean, if there was 120 individual nodes that each had their own perspectives, I mean, that's very decentralized, and I think that's plenty decentralized. And so maybe we don't want to go, above 150 or whatever that number is, because beyond that, then consensus building breaks down. If you have 1,000 individual node operators, how do you start to build consensus? I don't know if you can. And so um, there is a middle path to be walked between centralization and decentralization, where you do need to be able to make decisions and pivot. And like one of the things I like to kind of push is that THORChain is a business. Like I think so many people think of it as like a crypto token, right? Like, and like everyone's like, oh, how do we get people to buy Rune? Because like they thinking of it as like a meme coin or Bitcoin, where like the
Right.
way my Rune goes up is because you're buying Rune, and so therefore the price goes up, and then I can dump on you. And like, I mean, to me, the only value that THORChain or Rune has is the revenue it can extract by way of swap fees. Like, and so
Right.
it's a business, right? And so businesses need to be able to be nimble, especially startups, and like,
Mhm.
I mean, we're in finance. Like that's the market we're in. It is the most competitive market there is. Like, I mean, and so we need to be able to make decisions and move and make adjustments. And like, whenever people are like, oh, we're making too many changes to the protocol too fast, I'm like, yeah, that's what we got to do. Like, I mean, I don't like they think because it's it uses crypto rails, it has to be like Bitcoin and ossified and never move. And like,
Right.
yeah, maybe some parts of it can ossify, and I know we talk about that sometimes, and like that makes sense. But at some we have to keep flexibility, right? In my opinion, I think THORChain should be thought of first as a business. And it's a decentralized business, and it's fair, right? Anyone can become a stockholder. You buy Rune, no one can stop you from becoming a stockholder. If you buy enough stock, you can be a node operator, and you can directly influence the protocol that way. And so it's one of the first actual true decentralized businesses, and that's really cool. And so
Yeah, that yeah, I like what you're saying, and I wasn't familiar with the what'd you say?
Dunbar,
What's the number? Dunbar,
Dunbar.
but I am familiar. Dunbar, I am familiar with the idea. It's like it's almost like a home, right? If your family, you're communistic with your phone with your family. If you have your neighborhood, maybe you've got socialism, right? You help with each other. But on a city, it doesn't scale. You need to go to like a more capitalistic structure because it doesn't make sense. There's all kinds of room for abuse. I totally agree with you. This is actually something I think about because I don't really know what makes sense the best. I don't know what's optimal here because I want more node operators. I want them to be unique, of course, but I want less rune to be circulating. Right. I want more rune into the system so that if hostile actors ever do challenge THORChain, they literally
Yeah, but
cannot get enough rune to
those
take over
don't
the
have to be
network.
connected. Yeah, you can just raise the bonds. There's more, like each node
Right.
operator has more bond with. I mean,
Right.
so
That's where I was going. You could remove the minimum or the maximum, sorry, of the cap, and so you could have a node operator with 5 million rune bonded.
no,
But
no,
then
you
I
you
don't
you
understand how the voting work. Go ahead.
you want to keep the cap because you want to distribute the rune as even as possible among all the nodes. So the cap forces bond providers to leave fully bonded nodes and go to less bonded nodes, and I think that's a good thing.
I do too. Um, okay, so what I'm getting at is because you mentioned multi-nodes, right? And I'm happy with our multi-nodes.
Yeah, me too.
I think they're great. I think they're great individuals. I know you're very familiar with a few of them. I'm not worried about that right now, but long term, this is something that potentially could be attack vector. Maybe it never happens. I don't know. But I'm curious, like, if we want to get more node operators, let's just say 120 is this magic number. Maybe 200 is too many, right? It'll make the protocol too sluggish. Consensus will be too hard to get, blah, 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 whatever, right? What is would you want to see all those 120 node operators to be unique, right? So how would you make that transition to get someone like, I don't know, maybe like a Runetard who has multiple nodes or someone like that? Like, is there a way to get them to become a single node operator, single, despite having so much rune, right? In order to maximize decentralization? Or is this just but you'd have to change this. That's all I was trying to think. Like, how do you change the structure of THORChain to make that happen? Maybe it's folly. Maybe it's the wrong idea, but I'm
I
curious
mean,
if
I don't think you have to do anything. I think, like, all right, this is just like a fun. Like, this is, I don't know. I'm not serious here, right? But just like
it's fine.
if I'm honest, I've toyed with the idea of trying to run a node myself, right? And I don't have the chops, but again, it's getting easier and easier with AI, and we have such great other node operators who could like get me up to speed, right? And like, oh, I have a
Yes.
problem. I go talk to them, they help me out, right? Everyone's so supportive. And so like, yeah, if people wanted to bond with me, then I could run a node, and if I contribute enough to the community, maybe the community will respond by bonding with me, and I can make a little bit of money by doing that, right? And then, or if you
Yeah.
like my ideas, then you can bond with me, and then like my node can vote my ideas directly rather than me just trying to like share them. And so it's something I've toyed with. I haven't been serious about it, but since we're kind of
Yeah.
going there, and so if that were to happen, and like some of our like Runtard, he's given away BPs to get. I mean, I think Slambammer, right? He's stood up
Yeah.
Slambammer, and like he very generously and what's the proper word, like the opposite of being
Altruistic?
selfish, yes, very altruistically, um took a cut to his own profits for
Yes.
the good of the network, right? And so I think that can just continue to happen naturally. I don't think it needs to be forced, but like I think community members can prove themselves and then get stood up, and it's like, you know, you help up the next guy. And
I think that what you just said right there just made me feel so good, man. Because I and I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry,
no,
but there is some. This is what I really attracts me to THORChain is that we're different. Like, it isn't about making as much money. Like, we literally have an ethos. We have something more than just profit that's pushing a lot of the people in this community forward, right? And like Runetar is a perfect example, Slam Bammer too, and many others that I would mention, but they don't want to be mentioned, right? There is something different. And so you're right. Maybe the idea of just trying to like come up with some idea of forcing everyone to be single. No, maybe this is a natural progression. We already just keep doing what we're doing. We actually, the actually key is not to venture off the path. It's just to keep doing what we're doing. Keep this idea of just making this network more and more decentralized, you know? I think that's right, Boone. I actually think you're correct about that 100%. I think that was well said.
thanks.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean I know I totally cut you off your train of thought there. You're
No,
going on a good one. Sorry.
I mean, I had fleshed out the idea. Like, that's, you know, like, I mean, just to kind of tie it up, it's what I started off with, where th- decentralization is a journey, not a destination, right? And we started centralized. So every step we take towards decentralization is a step in the right direction. And like, you don't want to let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And that's true too, because our minds are always, you know, like you said, I always tell people, this is my impression, Boone, like Boone is always looking for things that are, you know, that can be improved. Right. And so I get really excited when you aren't saying shit, Boone. When Boone's silent, I'm happy as a motherfucker because I'm like, we must be doing pretty okay. You know what I mean? Because we're doing the right thing. So, you know, but of course you are speaking out. You are actually making, you know, improvements of THORChain with all the stuff that we've talking about before. But yes, I totally agree. I gotta know, Boone. This is something because you know I want to learn more about you. I'm sure we'll talk about this when we meet each other in real life. But this commune thing, can you talk about that? That's really interesting, man. Not a lot of people do that. So you're talking more of like a direct democracy thing and good and the bad. I wonder maybe you could talk a little bit about that because that's a really interesting topic.
Yeah. I'll try to do a short kind of summary first. And then if you want to dig deeper, you can. Yeah, so like I mentioned kind of at the start of this conversation, I'm pretty idealistic, probably have a splash of the tism, and
Me too.
yeah, and yeah, just, you know, like, when I was in my 20s, just like looking around at the world, I'm like, this is not good, right? You know, and like, and so, oh man, and I've been working on a book in the background for a long time, and I could talk for hours about this. I'm going to try to not go down these rabbit holes too hard, but like, it actually, okay. Here's a good little tie back. It's the same thing that we were just talking about with decentralization and node operators, and it's the technical term is collective action problems, coordination problems, right? And so, like you just said, oh yeah, you can cooperate with your family, you can cooperate with your neighbors, but on the city, it's capitalism, right? And capitalism is competition, right? And so it's exactly because we can't trust strangers that we're forced to compete. And so this is like the tragedy of the commons, and then the arms race is another. You know, as soon as one country has nukes, every other country needs nukes, and so no one wants a world with nukes. But as soon as one person does it, everyone's forced to do it, or you lose by default. Yeah, so these are like called
Yes.
collective action problems or the multipolar trap. Daniel Schmachtenberger is great on these issues. His thinking has influenced mine quite a bit, um, and so we're stuck in a competition trap where the world is getting shittier and shittier, and it's hard to get off of it. And one of the few like the way off the train is crypto, because it allows coordination. It allows decentralized coordination, in a trustless manner, and so you actually can trust strangers on chain. because the code is law. And so that is like that's another reason why I'm attracted to crypto, is because it is one of the only ways I've seen off of this competition trap that the world is in. And then the other way off the competition trap is to not participate in capitalism. Um, and obviously, I'm on a crypto protocol. Like it's not that capitalism is all bad, but it's a double-edged sword, and there are good things. It rewards risk-taking, innovation. Like I'm not, shitting on capitalism, but it also is the driver of this world-destroying machine because it's competition, right? And so there's healthy competition, and then there's unhealthy competition, and capitalism is both. And so, and like if you are an individual plugged into the general economy, you are contributing to this world destroying machine, right? You are chopping down the rainforest. You are whatever, like you're part of the problem. And so the only way to not be part of the problem is to meet your own needs yourself. If you're buying food in the grocery store, you're part of the problem. If you're growing your own food, you're not part of the problem. And that is what led me to the community of and trying to be as self-sufficient as possible, meeting as many of my own needs off a local land base in a way that is regenerative rather than extractive. And so yeah, it was basically being idealistic and like trying to be the change I want to see in the world, and yeah, model a different way of relating to other people and to the planet that is cooperative rather than competitive. Um, and so that's what led me there. And then Eastwind is an egalitarian, income sharing, nonviolent community. The basic economic deal is everyone works 35 hours a week in a way that material contributes to the community. All labor counts the same. So washing the dishes counts the same as working in the factory, counts the same as mowing the lawn, counts the same as watching the kids. And in return, every full member or every member, you get your own private room. You get all your needs taken care of. So food, water, clothing, shelter, medical care. Is all on the house, so to speak. And then there's also a small spending stipend on top of that for your own personal wants. And yeah, it's 1,000. Like I was at Eastwinds. I love Eastwinds. I miss it in some ways, or like definitely. And then also, I chose to leave as well. But yeah, they own 1,000 acres in the beautiful Ozarks in southern central Missouri, on a beautiful creek, Lick Creek. Shout out. And yeah, I mean, 700 acres was like mostly untouched. Well, I mean, it had been clear cut, but like it's like basically a nature preserve. I learned to hunt there. I learned so many practical skills. I learned to build buildings. I did forestry. I started to learn auto mechanics. I did a ton of different things in our business, which was nut butters. So almond butter, peanut butter, cashew butter, tahini. We had factory on site, and that's how we made money. And there was I mean, some very beautiful things there. Like it was a very good life in many ways. But then, yeah, the collective decision making can be very tricky. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll kind of stop there.
Yeah, well, no, that's really cool, man. I mean, that's the kind of guy you are. You just, this is like me. It's like I can't turn it off, Boone. Like if I see a problem, I can't just look the other way and just go live my life. I cannot do it. You know what I mean? Like literally it causes me suffering, right? Like, and I've been in previous professions where I would just see they're just blatantly something I disagree with. And I cannot rectify living with that in my mind and then just pretend like just moving on like something normal, And I think that's one of the biggest drivers of why you are here, right? And I really like what you said before is that THORChain crypto in general, these are decentralized individuals that are working together to solve a very hard problem and one that fixes the problem for everybody. Everyone has the same problem. This fiat currency regime, TradFi, banking system where the laws and voting are pretty much useless at this point, where you have special interests that writes legislation, at the betterment of themselves and not. I mean, we're completely off the rails, right? Completely off the rails, and this is the one chance to bring it home, bring it back. Um, so that's really cool. I don't know. I don't want to press you if you don't, because I know you're probably familiar with them. Maybe some of the decisions you disagreed with the commune, and that's why you left. I don't necessarily want to ask you if you don't want to answer that, but I think that's a
No, I'm
really
open.
interesting story. Really
You
story.
can,
And yeah.
if you have any questions, feel free. I mean,
Okay. Why? Well, can maybe give an idea of why you decided to leave ultimately, and maybe and for why you left. How does that affect your thinking in terms of the original thought process that you had?
yeah. So in the broader communities movement, like, so there's, a bunch of different, like the umbrella term that nowadays is intentional communities. Um, and this is a generalization, of course, but you can kind of like put people in two buckets. Some people think that the communities should be like a place of refuge or a life raft to escape from all the crap that you were just talking about, like, the being stepped on, the boot, and to just to have the tyrant's foot taken off your neck. And so that's
Right.
the communities should exist as a refuge from that or as an alternative. And then probably like, and it's about 50-50 on it. And then the other half think, well, no, we're building a new, better society. We're trying to do things different. Um, and it's like, so in the common parlance, you can kind of say life raft or spaceship. And I'm a spaceship guy. I was like, and then other people are life, and like it's, uh, and so, and then there's nothing wrong with one or the other, but for the first 4 years I was there, like, and things weren't no one's perfect. I didn't like, but I liked what I saw when I got there, and then I also thought we were moving in the direction I wanted things to go, and I was very happy to do that. And then around 4 years in, it started to shift, and it started to go in a direction I didn't want to, like, um, and yeah, people short in short, people did not understand the economic foundation of the community, and we did made bad business decisions. I'm like, this is retarded. What are we doing? We're so dumb. Like, what? You guys think this place can exist without our business? Like, get out of here. And so
Okay. Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, it sounds like that'll change some things. Oh my god.
yeah, and so yeah, like it started. I didn't where what I was there for wasn't what enough other people were there for, and it just, yeah, I'm like, all right, well, this, I'm glad I tried. I poured my heart into it. I love Eastwind. I love so many people there. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, absolutely no shade, but it just, what I wanted from my life was different from where we were going. So
Yeah, well, I mean, that's like yeah, I'm a rocket guy too. I'm not a life rap, I'm a rocket guy as well. And that's what THORChain is, right? That's what we're doing. Like we're literally changing everything. And to harken back to something you previously said, I think you play to your strengths, and the rocket ship really gets fueled up when we add XMR. You know what I mean? That's maximum sovereignty, protecting people. So I'm 100% on your side on
yeah,
that one. The hard thing, Boone, this is where I try to remind myself, like, I'm so gung ho about that. Like, if I'm with you, if I had like a magic wand, it's done. But I got to remember to be, I try to be patient because there might be technical things that I simply do not understand because I just don't have the competence as a developer. But I know one thing, Chad definitely is in favor of XMR. So I'm really hoping that your idea, what you push forth, I hope it moves the needle considerably forward
I mean,
because
and even
I
if it does, yeah, even if
but
it doesn't work out, like, I was just, I mean, I think it was building and like, oh, well, this is what's wrong with it, and like, like, I'm sure it's not perfect. Like, I mean, just to explain, I basically used AI coding agents to smash together Thornode with Sarai. And so that's why I think it could work, is because it didn't create anything new. It took like, and so the Sarai code is audited, right? And like, who knows what that's worth? The audited stuff
Sure.
gets hacked all the time, like this Resolve or whatever that just went down today.
Oh shit.
But like, it's better than not, right? And so you take it was just tying things, and that's what AI is good at. It's good at translation, and it's good at tying existing things together. And so it's not actually creating anything new, which is why it could work, right? Because like it's like, oh, this thing works and this thing works, and maybe we can just make them talk to each other. And that's what AI is good at. And so we'll see if it works. In my head, it makes sense, but I'm not. Also, I don't have the chops to like get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
I'm actually in the middle of running the what's it called? Hold on. Uh, well, whatever. I'm in the middle of running the make test to like have to get through these tests, and then it can go on to StageNet. So I'm in the middle of I have to set up my personal computer to be a proper test environment. So the AI is grinding through that right now. But yeah, I mean, on paper it should work. So we'll see how that goes. And we're so
Yeah.
I got bogged down in the detail. Oh, and yeah, I mean, I know, and so I'm just doing what I can. Like, you can either like bitch and moan, you can try to like get in the trenches and like do shit. And so that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, well, Chad Barraford was already really appreciative of you just hacking together a simple thing so a simple idea, just track rapid swaps, right? I mean, it's so nice when someone just says, "I'm going to do it," right? And I I'm glad you have the free time to do that. That's really cool. And I just encourage anyone who may be watching this, please, if you can, if you've got some skill, do it. And it's interesting to me because I mean, I think this is an eye opener for some people because you're not no spring chicken. You know how to do things with software, and I mean, you're not definitely not a super expert you would describe, but even with someone who has a relatively decent understanding of things, it's still you're saying you don't have the chops to be a node operator yet. I would love for you to be a node operator. You can get. I would definitely bond to you. I bonded multiple nodes, right? Because I'm one of those guys who bonds, trying to get people, get them on their feet a little bit. I don't have a super amount of room to do that, but I do what I can. But yeah, man. So yeah, shout out to you, dude. That's really cool. So I love it. I hope so. I really do. Um, you know, it would be a bummer if we'd had to wait for XMR to do it. But man, I don't know. I think you should check out Xano. I've been in a lot of
Yeah,
spaces with
I
them.
haven't listened. I haven't listened to that space yet. I need to.
It's they are a crypto note. It forked from 10 years ago. And they added something called gateway addresses, which they made it specifically in mind for dexes to integrate Xano. So and part of me too is like, we're doing all this work to add XMR and really we should, but it would be so cool if they made something like gateway addresses like on Xano to make it easier for us. Cause it's really hard. I mean, Chad Barraford himself says like, listen, I'm not a cryptographer. You know what I mean? I have skills. I'm good at what I know, but this is something that I just don't have a lot of experience in, it's just him being honest. And so we need to find cryptographers to help us at the very
Well,
minimum,
yeah.
and
I mean, well, that's why I took the route I did. Is like the guy who wrote Sarai, Kayab, he's also the lead designer on the
yeah,
FCMP and Carrot, Monero fork that's coming down the road. Like he is that, right? And so it's like, well,
yeah,
if he has open source code,
use it.
yoink.
Yeah, 100%, dude. 1000%. Yeah, I definitely would check out Xano though. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll check out. Yeah,
Yeah, and because if we can, they're a really cool community. I don't expect everyone to watch every live stream. We do so many. We're just stay busy, but same ethos as us, man. It kind of reminds me of the Luna people before the terrible crash. Like they were totally, engaged. So, um, there might be more. There might be more here. We might be able not just do Monero, but we might able to do. Obviously Zcash is coming. I don't know how you feel about Zcash. It's something, right?
yeah.
Um, you know,
I
so more
honestly don't
private
have
coins, the
much of an
better.
opinion of Zcash. Like, I mean, cool, but like, I know that the dark webs use Monero, so there's probably a reason for
Use
that.
what they use. Exactly, dude. That's 100% true. You use what they use. That's 100% so true. Very cool. Yeah. You can't, that's just stands the test of time, right? When it comes to that
Yeah.
stuff. So very cool, man. Awesome. Okay. Well, I don't know if I got any other, questions. Coke, if you want to butt in and ask anything, but dude, this has been such an awesome conversation. I'm trying to think of anything else to say. I think we got pretty much well rounded. Is there anything else that you can think of, Boone, that you want to cover? There's no time limit to this, by the way. I don't have time limit. If you want to chat about stuff, whatever you want. But I'm just really glad
No?
you did this with us, man. I
Oh,
appreciate you
yeah,
calling on
thanks for
camera.
asking.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to, if and we can do this again. You know what I mean? If things change, if you want to, if there's something interesting development, we're going to be we want to put a human face on THORChain, right? I don't want people to look at my face and think Denny's THORChain or Kenton is like. There's amazing people in this community, and like yourself, and we just showing the face on camera is so important. You know what I mean?
Yeah, actually, one thing you just spark a thought I had. So, like, this doesn't happen very often, but like every once in a while, either on like Twitter or like in, like Telegram or Discord, someone will refer to me as if like I'm someone in THORChain. And I'm like, oh, the inside like I'm not right at all. Like I'm just like, and it's funny that they think that, right? But like, it's
They
only
think of the same thing
because
in me, dude.
sure, right. Like it's only because I care. And like, they're like, oh, I don't have power like you do. I'm like, I don't have you have exactly the same thing I had when I started is like I just took an interest and I care and I share my thoughts like that's it. And like if people listen to me at all, it's only because I care and I share my thoughts. And like I don't know, there's like too many people like black pill. It's like and
Yeah.
also I'm gonna like there are so many whiny bitches in THORChain. Like, oh my fucking God. Like
Their
if you
voices are
don't
always the loudest, right?
if you don't like it, sell. Like, get the fuck
Yeah.
out of here. Like, oh my God. Like, whining solves nothing. Like, I'm not saying don't have criticism. Like, I have plenty of criticisms, right? But like, be constructive about it. But like,
Right.
oh, the price is down. Oh, volume's down. Wing, 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 wing. It's like, are you grown men or are you little babies? Like,
I
what the
I agree.
fuck? Good God. Like, you could all that energy that goes into complaining, you could
I
learn to
know.
vibe code like or anything. Like what the
I know.
like grow up everybody. To all you
I
whiny Thor chads, grow the fuck up. Like
I know. You got it. I know. There's so much. There's actually enormous amounts of intellectual energy that is wasted whining. Oh my God, if you spent that time and worrying too, people
oh
worry. I'm like, listen,
yeah.
guys, we got to win. Like success is not optional here. We are going to win, therefore we will win. So what can you do in
Yeah.
order to push us on? Right?
Yeah.
Like,
And if you're overly invested, sell. Like, I mean, I like take ownership for your own choices. Like uh, yeah, or maybe you were lied to. I'm sorry, it happened. Like, but ultimately, you chose to listen to that person or whatever, and like,
yeah.
and there's like, but like, you have to own your mistakes, and like, especially in crypto, like, crypto's so risky. Like, how do you not just on that face alone is like, if you're investing in a crypto protocol, there's a good chance you're going to lose it all, no matter what it is. Like, and if you're not
Yeah.
okay with that, then what do you don't invest that money? Like, yeah,
This is a problem. I think, and I don't know if this is something that can be fixed or if this is trainable, but you either have the ability to take accountability for your own mistakes, which is such an important personality trait that you must have. If you blame others for your own decisions, that just negative feedback loops you into anger and making bad decisions because you will never recognize the reasons why you made that mistake in the first place, right? I got hit pretty hard on LPing. I blame myself. I don't blame Chad. I don't blame you. I don't blame THORChain. I don't blame node operators. I blame only myself. 100% accountability. I have moved on. I don't care. I don't look in the past. If you look in the past, you can't see the path forward, right? Just keep going. You know what I mean? Because when THORChain started 2021, we had so many people, so many conflicting ideas, some good ideas, some bad. It just takes time through the marketplace of ideas, the rigmarole of doing all that. But we've done all that shit now, right? So why are we whining? Let's just go. Let's just execute. Let's get it done. Focus on the task at hand. I'm glad you said that. And I also want to say, I do not have an inside voice, guys. I'm not technically on the marketing team. Me doing this interview with Boone, this is my own free time. This is my own free time. I've sacrificed every weekend, both my Saturday and Sunday, since the beginning of this year, doing spaces, like every single day without missing one, right? But I love to do it because I believe strongly what we're doing, right? And like you building something, let's talk about someone else. Jane. Some people had problem bonding their runes, too complex for someone getting into it. Made runebond.com, right? She just built it. She used AI tooling. She did it. Like, this is the kind of
Yeah,
thing I'm talking about. Like, just do something and you will
right.
feel better. If you get personally involved, if you do something, you feel better. Me talking to Boone right now makes me happy with my investment because I feel like I'm not just twiddling my thumbs waiting for something to happen. I'm trying to make something happen, right? And community management is it's important, right? Every day, THORChain, the code's impressive, but the most powerful thing about THORChain is humans every day making decisions. To me, that's 100% what it is. So thank you for saying that. That
Yeah,
was therapeutic for me, Boone.
and like, and I get it. You know, I of course see problem, but like whining literally solves nothing. All you're doing is making things worse because you're sapping the emotional energy of the people trying
Yes.
to make things better. And like, no one's perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. But like, if you think the people in charge don't have good intentions, why are you part of the protocol? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I mean, here's another, like, like I said I wouldn't touch on it, but I guess I can't help myself. Like with the burns, like, oh, the node operators are dumping on us. They're just what?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean they're dumping on us? Like they what? Anyone can sell at any time. Like it
Yes.
makes like and just I know people don't agree with this, but they're wrong. The burn doesn't prevent selling. It just changes who
No.
can sell. Instead of node selling, then holders can sell. It does not prevent selling. It does not prop up the price. Like and it's like, oh, the price action's bad. It's the node operator's fault. It's like no, no. And like, and if it like, it makes no sense at all to me. And like, whining doesn't solve anything. If you don't like the way things are going, sell or contribute. Like, I'm not going to call out names, but like, literally, I saw someone's like, "Hey, why don't you try working for your bags?" And they're like, "The protocol, they don't deserve my time. I'm too good to contribute my time and energy to the protocol." It's like, okay, bro,
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah. If we had more people doing what you do, I mean, we would be so much stronger. And so that's always the goal. I just hope one thing that people get from this, right, is we're all individuals. We're all imperfect. Whatever you think of me, Boone, Chad, we're all doing the best we can, right? We all have our limited no, we have this depth of knowledge that we have from our lived experience, our education, whatever you want to call it. And we do the best we can with that information every day. When I interact with someone like Boone, Chad, Coke, Kenton, they teach me things, right? I'm learning from their because as a single life form, you can't put it all in here. There's just not enough things. People who have different perspectives, and that's the whole point, guys. So please just get involved. Do something. Share links on social media. You will feel better. Even if it's just a little 5 minutes a day of going on Reddit and making posts on THORChain, it does not matter. Do something. I promise you it's going to work out. With that being said, Boone, do you think that might be a good spot to cut it
yeah,
off right there?
yeah, totally. Actually, well, just one little addendum is like, just an example of what we just talked about is Baloney Bones had made a post. It's like, hey, I'm looking for community opinion writers for the blog. And I was one of the only people who took him up on that. It's not that I'm like special, but just like no, literally no one else took him up on it. And like that's why I wrote, a couple of those op-eds and I got a small payment for it, right? And like so my interest in Thorchain literally paid me, and it's only because I contributed. Is like I went out of my way to to do something, and that's why I got a spot writing for the THORChain blog. And it's that simple. I didn't do anything special other than throw my hat in the ring, and he took me up on it. So
Yeah,
you can
that's
just
what it
do
is.
things.
You can just do things, and I'm really glad that because harkening back to what you said about the commune thing, right? Like you had, you want to help influence something. You have your world view put you on the rocket ship. You want things to run a certain way. And I'm just hoping, Boone, like we're gonna make mistakes. Like a month from now, maybe we make a blunder. 2 months from now, but I think generally we're trending in the right direction, and I'm really thankful that you're helping with that. And I hope that you feel that you do have a voice and that you are exercising voice because I can tell you 100% from a third person perspective, you absolutely do, and you're doing a great job. So
Thank you.
thank
And
you,
same.
Boone.
I mean, I super admire your positivity. Like you're just I'm sure you have your own private reservations, but because you have like, kind of a community spokesperson or whatever, you are just so unfailingly positive. Like it's almost a little sickening to be honest, but like it is like it's very impressive, and
Yeah.
I super appreciate just the constant positive vibes that you're throwing out there. You do a phenomenal job.
Well, thanks, Boone. I appreciate that. But as I said too, like it's not fake though. I promise. Like I really
No,
feel
I
this
believe
way,
you.
and we don't have a choice. We have to win. Like we have to. There's no failure here. This is not like I invested in Tesla and it goes to zero or something, or ExxonMobil that actually went to zero. I should have used that as an example. That Tesla did really well. That was a good decision by me. But right, like no, we have to win. So let's just win, and we can win because the first principles are on our side. So and much for the reasons that you described today. So I'm so excited for this recording to get out there for people to see you, to learn more about you, to learn about this. You've done a great job, and we're gonna cut it there, you guys. If you have a special guest that you want to see us do a not necessarily a live stream, a recording with, they could do a live stream. We don't care. Please let us know. Is there a voice you desperately want to hear from? But I think we're gonna to have Boone again in the future. I think that's gonna be a must. But Boone, thank you so much for
Yeah,
doing with
thanks
this, for
thanks
being
for
with me on
asking.
this
I
one.
appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. You have a good day, and all you guys out there, have a good day as well. Bye now.
Take care, guys.